Hi, it's Ileana. Today I'm going to discuss free will choice and what free will choice means. So recently I had discussed about the dangers of going up on the two motherships, the genetic experimentation lab motherships that Enki is operating, the Anunnaki. So basically, if anybody chooses to go up on those ships, that's their free will decision to explore what happens there. We cannot stop these people from going up on the ships if that's what they choose to do because they're curious, they want to explore what that is. Some believe that Enki is a benevolent entity, that he was the one who freed mankind from slavery, that he was the one who brought us benevolent genetics to make us a free species. He actually suppressed us from being a free species for a long time before he actually undid the manipulative genetics that caused us to be slaves in the first place. So that's a fine line that was part of history. Right now, this moment, Enki is not a positive being. And again, the Galactic Federation of Worlds cannot stop the galactic humans from visiting Enki's ship if they chose to do it of their own free will choice. I remember that I was once young myself and curious about other ET beings' ships, but I quickly learned that not everyone is benevolent, as these beings come in many guises. Some of them say they're so benevolent, they're here to teach us healing, they're here to teach us wisdom. And I fell for one of these types of ploys on a very negative Pleiadian ship. Yes, even Pleiadians can be negative sometimes. Just because Pleiadians and Andromedans are always, described as benevolent and great. Some of them are, but there are bad groups that are just bad apples. Just like Enki is a bad apple at this time. I'm not saying that all Anunnaki are bad or evil. Some of them aren't. But what Enki and Enlil played out 450,000 years ago was not for the benefit of humankind, and it still isn't. They're here to control us. They're here behind the scenes doing what they always done, playing their genetic experiments and games. So I am no longer eager to go up exploring the most dazzling of adventures up above. I know better. I only work with a certain sets of groups of Andromedan healers, Arcturian healers, and the L race. I only go on 3 types of ships with somebody I really trust and have worked with for years, my wisdom teachers. And I still test the frequencies to make sure it's them. I don't just go up on any ship out of curiosity, because if it looks too good to be true, it most certainly is not. Most likely. I learned that lesson the hard way as well, because I fell for a Pleiadian trap where they wanted supposedly to teach me wisdom, and they ended up shocking me with an electric beam, a pulse beam, and almost abducting me and kidnapping me and almost sending me to another galaxy. I barely escaped with my life. That's when I was young and still exploring, visiting many different planets, many different ET species, learning about their cultures. This was when I was doing this on my own as an ET contactee. And for the most part, the beings were very benevolent, very pleasant. I learned a lot about different world cultures and a lot of different benevolent, positive extraterrestrials. about their world history, cultures, way of life, planetary stuff about their planets, solar systems, universes. Beautiful stuff. I mean, I met a lot of different cultured beings who are very humane, who are very kind, compassionate, and caring, who taught me soul wisdom and soul history. And I've met some that weren't always good. And the secret space programs, I would say, were manipulating me through the Neuralink implants, making me voracious for information and knowledge, to gather knowledge, to collect data. The Neuralink implants allowed me to voraciously download anything that I wanted. And so basically, even after they were removed, I'm still able to collect and download any information I want. I am tapped into universal knowledge, into the living libraries. I'm energetically tapped into that, and I can access a lot of stuff and give answers and explore topics and histories, planetary world histories, ET histories. That's something I still do very much. I'm a researcher, and I'm thankful for this ability, but I know that it's programming that could have taken me over if I hadn't addressed how voraciously I can access anything and everything I want informationally. That is a type of programming trap that came with my Neuralink implants. That was a control mechanism. I understand what that is. And even I was curious about wanting to channel Enki and see what's on his motherships. Enki is a geneticist. I had been a geneticist, and I'm a healer as well. I had been a geneticist in Atlantis. That didn't end so well for me because I came close to discovering what the sons of Belial were doing genetically, creating chimeras and animal abominations. And I dated somebody at that time who actually died because of that, because they were ready to expose those secret genetic labs underground in secret locations under Atlantis. Free will choice is about making decisions for yourself. And even our guardians and our protectors cannot always stop us from going up somewhere and seeing what's going on and actually getting involved. So I was very curious about Enki myself. I wanted to do a channeling project. I wanted to see the motherships. But I got a warning from Source Creator not to do this because if I did it, it might compromise me and I would be infested with an Enki possession. I'm not interested in being possessed by Enki. I'm not interested in embodying Enki anything. Basically, as a healer, I was trained to do a lot of entity attachment removal and implant removal because it causes negative energy and trouble in the body and the soul. So a Source Creator warned me to basically not to contact Enki, not to remote view Enki, and not to go on his motherships. Yes, as a previous geneticist, I'm curious what's on those ships. I am human, I have a curiosity, I have a desire for knowledge, but in this case, I have also a desire for self-preservation and not to become possessed with an entity attachment of Enki literally speaking through me, which has happened to some Galactic Federation of Worlds emissaries. It's changed their behavior, it's changed their personality, and sometimes Enki peeks through in the behavior, and people are starting to notice that something is a little bit different about these people, and I do not wish for that to happen to me, and I hope those innocent people who unfortunately have picked up the Enki energy field in their soul and are having Enki slightly possess them, I hope that stops and they get the help that they need and they realize what's going on, because nobody has the right to possess others. Nobody has the right to be in another person's soul and changing their personality and behavior. That's not appropriate. No being should have the right to do that. But Enki is doing this, and Enki is tampering with galactic human DNA, creating cyborgs and other things, creating abominations, which is unlawful on those 2 motherships. The genetic labs seems to be a cycle. It happened in Atlantis. It happened on Earth 450,000 years ago, and now it's happening on 2 motherships up above, with Enki doing naughty things he's not supposed to. And these beings are immortal. They can easily swap bodies. They can easily be resurrected or come back from the dead. They can reincarnate. They can go into any body they want. Anunnaki are immortal. So they can do body swapping and soul swapping. They are that powerful, and they can come back from the dead because they're extraterrestrials that have the ability to do this. They are long-lived. They live for thousands of years. So this is nothing new. They've done cloning. They've done soul swapping, body swapping. Enki can change his shape and form. And Enki can enter other people's souls through his own energetic frequency. He is that powerful. So free will choice, unfortunately, allows people to make choices, whether they're the best for them or not so much. And the Galactic Federation of Worlds cannot stop people from exploring life experiences. As much as those guardians would like to, they cannot always interfere and impede on our free will choice. At the end of the day, you're free and sovereign to do whatever you want on Earth and above. So, nobody's placing blame on anybody here. Those galactic humans who got involved with Enki are innocent. They don't really even realize what's happening to them and how that entity has changed them. They are innocent. There's no putting blame on anybody. I'm not taking sides. I only did a intuitive channeling. I did not do an active remote viewing. My energy was not on those ships. My energy did not connect to Enki and never will, because I was warned that's dangerous and not to do that. I did not do a deep trance channeling session to let Enki into my soul field, because if I had, I would end up with the same thing. Enki being in my energy, doing naughty, inappropriate, troublesome things to me and with me. I'm not here for that. I'm not interested. It's not happening, and I hope it stops with those innocent people who got involved in this. It needs to stop, because those people are innocent. So innocent and trusting. It's not their fault that this happens. Curiosity can get the best of us. It's happened to me before, but I've learned my lesson. I don't go up with strangers on spaceships, with beings that I don't know. I ask a lot of questions. I try to energetically see what agendas they have. Are they a positive polarity, a negative polarity? What do they want? Because most of them have an agenda, whether good or bad. They do. They'll always ask you for something in return. If their polarity is wanting something in return, they'll ask and you'll know. It's up to you to make a decision whether this is wise or not for you, whether you want to participate in something or not, whether human or extraterrestrial. Free will choice allows us to make decisions. Good or bad, we are free to explore what we want, when we want, how we want. Choices can be made. Then choices can be changed as well. If we learn what happened and why, we can always change it. But again, I'm not interested in soul possession by Enki. From what I saw in that intuitive channeling from Source Creator, it's a very disturbing thing that's happening on those motherships and those visiting them. So I was told don't do it, and I didn't, because I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to be in that type of trouble. Now, some have said that I'm compromised because I reported on this stuff. I'm not compromised. I am my own true self telling a truth. It's not a truth that I like, even talking about. This feels very uncomfortable to me, but it is a truth, and it's a soul trap. Enki is a soul trap. He's not your benevolent being here to rescue you or help you. He's here to get you in trouble. That's the sad, honest truth at this time. I only told the truth. Whether people like it or not, I am not out in competition with any of these Galactic Federation of Worlds emissaries. I've been told that I'm creating competition, that I'm corrupted and compromised. I am not, because I refuse to be entity possessed. I refuse to be in political games of any sort. I'm a neutral observer, reporting what was given to me by Source Creator in intuitive channeling. I don't do active trance channeling. I don't channel many beings because I don't want anybody entering my soul field and literally driving my body, talking through me. That does not feel right to me. Yes, I'm an experienced channeler. I've done channeling, but I always take the precautions to protect myself. And I am always aware what is happening during channeling. At any moment, I can disconnect the channeling session, because even though I might be a neutral observer, I don't completely go away during channeling. Some people do, and they believe that's a true trance channeling session where they're completely stepping away. I don't do that. I'm always aware during channeling what the being is doing, who they are, what they're channeling, and why. Because honestly, if somebody is ever in my soul field, I'm not going to let them take control of me. And I don't let beings come into my soul field anymore because I don't need it. Sometimes there's trickster beings. There are trickster beings that could psychically, telepathically manipulate you, even without channeling. So there's a lot of soul traps and dangers like that right now. So I'm not interested in astral traveling to any ships, any places that I don't feel comfortable with. I'll always check it out to make sure I'm safe, that nobody's going to attack me or take me over or compromise me. Honestly, too much AI system programming going on, too much soul trapping, too much genetic backstabbing, and so on and so forth. Free will choice. My free will choice says, no thank you. I'm not interested in any of that. And I hope people are interested in being safe, protected, loved, and respected. And doing your inner work, inner wisdom, inner soul seeking, inner soul searching within yourself to know your truth. Not depending on anybody else to tell you the truth or to deliver the truth. Know your own truth. Seek your own wisdom, discernment, and free will choice. Thank you so much, and namaste.